Hello and welcome to an art video. So I have actually been watching Art by Heather a lot. I've really been binging her videos and I wish she had more because I'm pretty much caught up now. But yes, I will tag her in the description below, so definitely go check out her channel. But she uses water-soluble oil pastels. And so I picked this up from HomeSense the other day. It is the cheapest variety of water-soluble oil pastels you can find, but I thought in an effort to just try them out, I would try the cheapest one. I know from watching her videos that there are different qualities between the cheaper ones and the more expensive ones, and so they will act differently. So I do want to try the expensive ones, but I want to play around first with the cheap ones. So the way I want to try them out is this is my sketchbook that I'm currently working on here. And there are a few pages that are like this, where I have had leftover paint from a previous project and I've just put it on the page and left it for another time. So now is another time. I want to use the oil pastels on these pages. I've got numerous ones throughout this sketchbook and I really want to finish this sketchbook. And so I want to actually use, so the subject for today is going to be mushrooms from this book that I got from the library. It's just got pages and pages of mushroom pictures and I'm just so excited. Ooh, like that one's kind of cool. Maybe I'll start with this one. And I don't really have to pick normal colors if I don't want to. Maybe I will for this one just because this picture is so beautifully coordinated with the background. Maybe I will try and emulate the picture colors. So let's see, we'll start with this really light one. And I really like Art by Heather. I really like Heather's approach to art because she's really loose and free, and it seems like she doesn't take herself too seriously, and it's more about the process and the fun than it is about like being the best artist you could ever be, right? So yeah, I'm gonna try and embody some of that. But first off, I'm just going to draw this. And I do have oil pastels that are not water soluble. And so I could use some of those as well. I've only seen her use them together once, I think. So it would be kind of interesting to play around with using them together. But for this one, I'm just going to use the oil or the water soluble oil pastels and see what happens, really. And I think this approach to art, it makes it very appealing to other people because it makes it a little bit more attainable when you are more free and scribbly with the art, you know? And so it allows people to feel like maybe they could try it sometime, which is a cool effect to have on the art community. I thought that this one would be lighter, but it's turning out to be dark. I used to hate oil pastels, and I still kind of feel like I hate chalk pastels, but lately I've been finding other artists really embracing oil pastels, whether it's water soluble or not, and it just looks like a lot of fun. So it's been nice to be able to kind of embrace it myself. And I have been wanting to get into this so much after watching Heather. And I'm just going to use this really cheap water brush to play with the water-soluble effects of the mushroom, or I should say of the medium. So yeah, I didn't even prepare for this very well because I don't even have like a paper towel or anything. And I know that oil pastels, water-soluble mediums will react completely differently on an acrylic background, like what I'm going to be doing in this book. But I really want to make use of these pages, and so why not throw myself in the deep end on the hard stuff, and then that way when I finally get a little bit of practice on the hard background, when I can finally get to like using proper paper, like either oil paper or watercolor paper, maybe it will seem a lot easier. So I'm like doing the hard stuff first. I don't know, maybe that's wishful thinking, but we are gonna see what happens. I do think this water soluble effect is really fun. I don't know, it almost forces you to be loose with your art and doesn't allow you to be super precious with it or perfectionist with it. And I like that. I know Heather often does like a base coat or even a couple of coats that heavily use water, and then for her final coats use a little less water. So I think I'm going to try that just because we are working on an acrylic background, and so it is going to just make the water soluble effects a little bit trickier. So I used my heat tool to dry this a little faster. And it might not be fully dry yet. It doesn't look like maybe it's fully dry yet, but I'm too impatient, so I want to continue. Unless these cheaper ones are too waxy to dry with a heat tool, because then it just becomes waxy, right? Think about melting wax. That might be the case. I'm not sure. Okay, so I really like watching other people's art videos when the artist talks through everything. And I've talked about this before on my channel. When I've done art videos, I don't know what to talk about, and I totally feel for the other artists who make art videos and then just put it to music, but I don't enjoy watching that kind of content, so I don't really want to be making that kind of content, you know? So yeah, I just don't know what I should talk about because I'm just getting really into this and I'm forgetting that I should probably be talking as well. But I guess if you're getting really into your art piece, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. That means you're having fun. That means your artistic brain cells are rapidly firing to try and create, which is a good thing. Okay, so I kind of feel like I'm about done and I can't really do too much more. But I know that there's a way that she would like really render the piece, and I really want to do that. I am not very good at rendering, and that's something that I really need to work on. Like, I feel like I can get the basics of a piece ready and in a good place, but then I don't know how to finish rendering it. So yeah, that is something I really do want to work on. And I need to remind myself constantly that a sketchbook is for sketching. It is for mistakes. It is for experimenting, you know, like a sketchbook doesn't have to be beautifully finished pieces. And that's a difficult part for me. And now I want to see if I can go over, I have to clean this off. So I'm just going to go on the next page. Just clean off my white. And I want to see if I can make these, whatever they are, spots on the top of the cap. They're really concentrated over here. Okay, you know what? I think that's good. I think I'm good with that one. So yeah, I guess I'll probably just dust it off because there are some crumbs. Being careful not to smudge it too much. And then I'm just going to take a piece of parchment and put it there so that it doesn't transfer onto this page. And then we will move on to the next one that needs to get addressed. Okay, so the next page that I have that I need to work on is this spread. So I actually have a few here, and that tends to happen when I have leftover acrylic paint. I just put it in my sketchbook and then leave it for a rainy day. So I guess we'll do another, maybe we'll do a full spread of mushrooms this time. So I think for this spread, I want to do these mushrooms. So I'm gonna just scatter all of these different kinds of mushrooms all over the page. And I think I'm not gonna necessarily keep to this color scheme because we are just working on basically a green neutral background. I think I might keep this one yellow, but I might play around with some of the other ones. I've gone quiet again. I'm so sorry. Like, what do we talk about? Why do I like mushrooms? I don't actually like eating mushrooms that much. I will eat them, but it's not like they're one of my favorite dishes or anything. I don't know. They just have a cool, whimsical aesthetic to them, I guess. It's not quite this yellow either. Like, it's a lot more of a golden yellow. It is a lot more golden, but even still, there is that green heavily, heavily influencing the yellow. I did get a pretty big set of these oil pastels. Like, there's 48 in here, but you know, they're not the best quality. They're not even that great of a quality, to be honest, just based on the price point. But I mean, when you find an artist and you're binging and you yourself are an artist and you just really want to try what they're doing, yeah, it was like a Sunday, I think, or was it a holiday? And lots of the stores weren't open, so I had to just take what I could get, right? Alright, now let's bring out the water brush and mess around. On an acrylic background, I do feel like these water-soluble oil pastels really move around. Maybe too much, because they're not soaking into the paper, they're just sitting on top. So I guess that would be definitely a drawback. to painting on acrylic. Painting, well, I guess using oils or water-based materials on an acrylic background. But I need to figure out ways to use up these acrylic pages, you know? And I went silent again on you guys. So I'm going to use the heat gun again. I'm not really sure if the heat gun is the best for these particular oil pastels, just because it feels like it melts instead of dries. But I'm going to give it a shot. Sorry about that. The sun went down, apparently. It's very cloudy today. So I think maybe I need to let the page cool off a little bit. I don't know. I don't really have patience for that, so maybe I won't. I think I'm going to keep it onto this page instead of doing a full page spread, because I don't think I really enjoy using oil pastels on acrylic. I think it just gets so gummy, and I don't like that. So I'm going to put another one, and I want to put it behind this one. So let's make the little shape here. It's got a nice little crack in the cap here, which I like. And then what do we have? Kind of like a red brown. Didn't I say I wasn't going to use the same colors as were in the book? Oh well, here I am, trying to make them similar. Let's go with this one for the tippy top. Unless this is what you want. Like, maybe I just haven't been using enough water. Well, let's see this. Let's see what happens when we dry this. Maybe that was the issue. Just wasn't using enough water. So I don't know if you guys can see like what happened here. I mean, it's still not fully dry either, but it's drying very, very thick, and that's the waxy element. So I think I know what she means now. So yeah, I mean, my paper is warm from that, but I do want to, yeah, see, this isn't gonna work. I can't layer on top very well. Like, I really like when she gets like a really smooth finish. A really, really nice blended finish. So, hair from the brush. And I don't think I'm going to get there. I don't know, guys. This really isn't working for me. I think I will try oil pastels on watercolor paper or oil paper, because I don't think I like it on acrylic backgrounds. Or else I just don't know the technique for it. Which could very well be, considering this is like really my first time playing with water-soluble oil pastels. I mean, I like to think that I'm learning something through this process. I hope I am. Okay. Let me dust this off and then we'll talk. So, what do I think? I mean, as I'm talking, I could always just add these spots. I think I either don't know the techniques for oil pastels on an acrylic background, which could very well be the case because this is my first time, or oil pastels just do not work very well on an acrylic background. So for the rest of my pages in this book, I think I'm going to use gouache instead. Gouache is my safe space. I love gouache and I love to use it and I'm comfortable with it. So I think maybe that's what we'll do. I'll save that for another video because this one is all about these water-soluble oil pastels and playing around with them and stuff. So that's kind of my conclusion. It is very fun. I will say I've had a lot of fun making these, even though I haven't necessarily like loved the outcome. I think it's been a lot of fun playing with these. So, I mean, that's happy. It's a happy little result. And let me know in the comments if you have played with oil pastels before. I am sure I did, like in high school for art class or something. But as an adult here, I hadn't ever played with oil pastels until I found actually Brofaz, and then I tried oil pastels, and then here with Art by Heather trying water-soluble oil pastels. So that's kind of been my journey with oil pastels thus far. And I think we're gonna call it a day. So let me know what you think, and let's chat about art supplies, oil pastels, all that in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in whatever comes next. Bye!